welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline Live, Tuesday night in the Bethel Park studios, right here in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. And everybody on Verizon, thanks for watching us in Bethel Park and all through the area. We appreciate you. And we're at the likes. We're holding steady like around 63, 96, I think. So we're still around that 6,400 mark. Appreciate you watching the shows and then liking our page. We enjoy that. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got Chip Hayner next to me. We got Smoking Jim Frazier. He was early. We didn't have any stress with him getting in the studio. And we got Devin in the control room. And we're just winging it here. No cameraman inside here, but Devin set us up to be on the air for your enjoyment. We're going to talk some sports. And we start the show off with What's on Your Mind? Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. Oh, man, I should be throwing to you guys because Tom Brady brought the white receiver back. I love it, too, boy.
Yeah,
I love my New England receivers, don't you?
No, not really.
I know Brady does. He probably doesn't even know half their names, but it doesn't matter, does it?
They're all the same.
They all do the same thing.
Good.
They catch everything he throws.
Now, if we can just get some
and they beat Baltimore. That's what I cared about.
Now, if we can just get some white cornerbacks in the league, I would be happy.
Okay.
I don't like that reverse discrimination stuff. But anyhow.
You brought the race up early, Smoking Jim, in the first minute.
What's on my mind is
what is it?
Is the Pittsburgh Sportsline Player of the Week. And it's going to none other than Steel Valley backup junior running back. Let me say, he got a brother named Nasheer West. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Nasheer West rushed 12 times for 298 yards, 5 touchdowns in Steel Valley State Championship 49-7 win over Southern Columbia.
And Southern Columbia was the defending champion.
They were the defending champions, as Chip says, and West scored on runs of 53, 5, 37, 60, and 60. In one of his touchdown runs, he broke 9 tackles, and it ended up being featured on ESPN SportsCenter. Congratulations, Nasheer West, I believe I'm saying that correctly.
That was a heck of a run.
Junior backup running back.
Hey,
Looking forward to
congratulations
seeing him
to the
next
Ironman.
week. Looking forward to seeing him next year. Right.
Are you?
Yeah.
Playing for the Gators?
I would love to have him because the Ironman will be one and done.
Smoke.
You know it and I know it.
Smoking Jim. That's all you got?
Yes, sir.
There's no teams or anything this week.
Well, I love that Central got hammered.
Yeah, I thought I was going to say.
I got to get the tape of that.
Didn't give a shout out to the.
I want to get the tape of that, man. Watch it over and over and over again, man.
Smoking Jim, you're consistent
Got
in
the
who you don't
mercy
like.
roll put on them, didn't they?
They got smoked.
Shocking. I was
They
waiting.
got smoked.
I guess I won't wait for the Pittsburgh Sportsline Team of the Week. We don't have one.
No team.
Just the
Yeah,
player.
Beaver Falls winning their first state title.
No team of the week, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on. Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Well, thank you, Alan. And, this is really a great time to be a Pittsburgh sports fan. You know, you look at what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and who was that wearing a red cape with the number 26 on it? It must have been Le'Veon Bell. I looked like Superman to me the way he played on Sunday. And then you know what? Superman changed his number, threw a number 87 on, put on some ice skates, and he's over at the Pittsburgh Paints Arena. Sidney Crosby has like the Phoenix rising from the ashes. He's once again the top goal scorer in the NHL. He is producing goals at a pace that was equivalent to what he was doing prior to his concussion at the Winter Classic in 2011. 23 games, 21 goals. Unbelievable. But isn't this a great time to be a Pittsburgh sports fan?
Oh, yes, sir.
And last but not least, who's going to be wearing the red cape next summer? No less. of a Pittsburgh star than Andrew McCutchen.
Whoa.
And yes, Andrew McCutchen will be playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates next year. I said all along that I would really hope that Andrew McCutchen stayed in Pittsburgh. I think Andrew is going to have another MVP caliber year. And he has come through this little, well, what should we say? This little
bump in the road.
Bump in the road, good way to put it, about potentially being traded. And this gets me to what is on my mind.
Whoa.
Yes, it does. You know, I listen to sports talk shows because, you know, this is what we do as well. And I like to kind of listen to the way the hosts deal with the people that are calling, and I like to hear about what the opinions are of people. And I really, really wish that these people that are DJs for the local talk radio shows, the sports shows, these sports writers, I think they've got this inflated view of themselves, of who they are and what their importance is. And maybe somebody needs to explain to them, look, guys, you are reporters. You report the news. You don't make the news. So all of these reporters that created all this stir and created all this animosity about Andrew McCutchen and the Pittsburgh Pirates and how they didn't want him and they didn't think he could play and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? All of you missed the mark because all of you were wrong. And I guess maybe you got the airwaves filled up, had people listen to you, but I really, really think, and I believe this in my heart, reporters should report the news, not try to create it. That's what's on my mind.
Whoa. Well said. Well said, Chip. Want to thank our sponsor of tonight's show, Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Smoking Jim's, watch your finger, Smoking Jim. He's biting that pizza pretty good like he's mad at it.
Yeah, that's why I pulled back real quick.
You got to. Give him a call. You can talk to Abby. She made our pizza and hoagie. 412-831-1900. They're right there in Hillcrest Shopping Center. If you can't get out, they'll come to you tonight. We know there's some snow out there. The main roads seem pretty good. The side roads here are pretty good. It's not too bad here in Bethel Park. I'm not sure about the other areas, but if you're at home and you're snowbound, just keep watching the show. Stay tuned. We always talk about Joey Strong. Here's their brochure, the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, before and after photos when he got DIPG, the brain cancer that killed him before his 9th birthday. If you can donate something to the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, check out their different events in the area, and they do stuff all year long. There's a lot of things that happen at the Bethel Park High School. They have bingo and other activities here, and their race during the year, their 5K, walk, and run. So stay tuned with that. Then my friends here though I sponsor the Bethel Park Community Foundation. You can see them at bpcf.org. If you need money for your group, you can get from $100 to $5,000. They have different things going on all the time. Right now they have Mr. and Mrs. Claus and sleigh rides Friday night. This Friday night should be the last week they're doing it. They did it the previous 2. I stayed out in the cold the first week there and helped people on. And they have a horse-drawn sleigh for Mr. Claus and Mrs. Claus. It's a great event. So that gets them some money for this, to give you guys money for your organizations. What's on your mind? As you know, I enjoy watching sports. I called this win in spite of what Smokin' Jim said. I said you got a Steelers will win this weekend, and they surely beat Buffalo. I thought with the weather, it'd be a low-scoring game. Lo and behold, 236 yards by Le'Veon Bell. He did it all in the snow. And then Roethlisberger had a terrible game. 3 picks, looked off on his throws, and it kept the score down 27-20. There was no doubt in my mind during the whole game that the Steelers controlled the action. The defense looked good. You know, Chip was talking before the show that, boy, Jarvis Jones is out. I think that's helped the defense tremendously to be in position. And now we're called fast. The announcers, I was laughing a couple times because I listen to all this. They go, the Steelers are just such a fast team. And I'm looking like Smokin' Jim was against Jarvis Too Slow Jones from the beginning. He's winding out his career, it looks like. So it was enjoyable to hear and see the game and watch them play. And they may run the table. I had said that they got a chance to do it, but they're playing like they could do it. So stay tuned. Keep on watching the Steelers. Go Steelers. Chip, I had to say something about the Penguins. They're unbelievable with what they're doing this year. Mm-hmm. They're scoring. Sid Crosby scored a bunch. I think he's leading first-time goals in each game. Wow. That he's scored a bunch. I think he got like 6 of them.
He's playing like the best player in the world, and I got so tired of hearing that for the last few years when he was quote unquote the best player in the world that stunk. But now he's playing hockey the way he did when he was younger. With a reckless abandon, and he's putting pucks in the net. And
the other thing, he's smiling. He's smiling during these games, so he must be feeling good, and he's going all out, and he's lifting the team up. It doesn't matter who plays with him. Malkin's doing his thing. It's great. Murray's got a great year going. You know, they may have to do something with Fleury, but at least we've got 2 great goaltenders. So it is a pleasure to be watching sports in Pittsburgh, so I'm going to enjoy it. The other sports, the high school football's done. A lot of great players out there and coaches, so we have that to fall back on. And that highlight on ESPN with that run was just unreal. They played it each day after that. It was on ESPN, and Monday Night Football, I think it was on. They showed it, so
really?
Heck of a run. Yeah, and a couple of the shows that they do. Yeah, Pardon the Interruption showed it. Another couple of them, yeah. It's been all over ESPN. Just a pleasure to be from Western Pennsylvania with the athletes we have. They're still trying to figure it out. And then the Elaine Kiffin story. What, now he's a coach head coach in Florida?
He's a head coach at Florida International. Is that where it is? That's what
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, well, he's signed, and he's getting paid $1 million a year. He's walking away from the offensive coordinator's position at Alabama, which probably pays him close to $2 million a year. Mm-hmm. And he's going to take considerably.
But he won't get yelled at by Saban anymore. He's not going to hear anything.
Lane Kiffin is lucky to even have a job. He had how many high-profile jobs that he completely blew all on his own? He was the Raiders coach. He was USC coach.
Yeah.
Where else was he a coach? Tennessee, and he got fired faster than you could imagine from every one of these high-profile positions. Now, after Nick Saban was good enough to give him a job and give him an ability to earn and reestablish his name, then he's going to start dogging him as soon as he gets out of there. He goes, "Well, I wanted to go to a school where we use the word we instead of I," and. You don't make those kind of comments to somebody that salvaged your career.
He said that?
Yeah, that just goes to show you. He's not going to be very long tenured at this small college in Florida.
I don't even know where it's
He'll come back with his hat in his hand and see if he can take some more table scraps off of Saban's table.
Being that you guys are on football, congratulations.
Well, we still got segments to do, but you could bring up a point.
Just one point. Congratulations to the Pitt offensive coordinator. He got an offensive coordinator job at LSU.
Did he
get that?
Did he get that?
Good.
Okay, because when I came in, I had not yet seen that had been confirmed. They said it could be confirmed as early as this evening.
1 year after getting fired as an offensive coordinator at North Carolina State.
And Narduzzi
worked out well for him.
Narduzzi and Scott Burns said that they were in negotiations with him last week, trying to get him to stay. But this was before the LSU job opened up for they were going to try to make him stay. But these SEC schools, when you can pay your offensive coordinators $1.5 million, $2 million a year, I mean, come on, Narduzzi's only making what, $2.25 million. You can't pay your coordinator as much as you're paying your head coach. It just it doesn't work out.
Well, good luck to him. He did a great job this year.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, let's go to our segments. We got Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Before I get into that, I'd like to ask you guys a hockey question.
Get the puck out of here.
Is it true that everybody knows it's true, right? Crosby superstitious?
Most hockey players are. I don't know
Football players,
personally what he is, but hockey,
hockey
players more than others.
Everybody other than Mccutchen.
And you are. Look at the hat you're wearing.
Yeah, Mccutchen is for. But the reason I'm saying is Crosby's having a great season, MVP caliber season.
No question.
How do you guys feel about them going outdoors and playing a game? I know Crosby's not in favor of that.
I personally am not a big fan of these outdoor games, and here's the reason why. When they had one game a year, and it was kind of rotated around the various teams in the league, it had a little bit of a novelty effect to it. Mm-hmm. But now that they're having 2, 3, 4, 5 of them a year, it's just it does nothing for me. It's bad lighting. Especially a game like hockey, when it's inside, you got the white underneath the ice, and it really kind of makes everything pop, and you can follow the puck. When you're outside, you don't have the kind of lighting that you got inside. I'm not a big fan.
I'm not going to watch
Never was a fan of it. Don't believe in it. Play inside.
I agree. I'm not going to watch it either.
When would you watch it?
Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, going back a little ways. Trenton Coles, Clairton's Trenton Coles was probably one of the greatest names in WPIL history. He's a 2-time state 100-meter dash champion. He was a 2-time state 200-meter dash champion. He was 6'2", 190 pounds, ran a 4.340. Great work ethic, wide receiver, slot back, quarterback, cornerback, safety, and a pretty good kicker, straight-on kicker.
Whoa.
In high school. Had 50-plus scholarship offers when he was at Clairton. All-American, blue-chip caliber football player. And I remember Clairton, his senior year, beat a pretty good Rochester football team. And I had the article already written on Trenton Coles for my story. I had already written. And I just needed a quote from the Coach Tom Nola at the time, who went to Gateway after that and showed that he could not coach.
Very good sideline.
But I asked him in the locker room, of course, Clairton, the bad sportsmanship that they have, but they were celebrating and doing their rap dance in the locker room because they won. And they were kissing the trophy, passing that around. And I said, Coach, what made it so easy for you guys to beat a good Rochester team? And I just knew he was going to just go on about Trenton Coles. He says, we have Tyler Boyd, and they don't. I'm like, who's Tyler Boyd? Tyler Boyd was a junior running back. There's so much talent on Clairton's team. But Trenton Cole was the guy with the name. And Tyler Boyd was this junior running back that was slowly breaking all kind of records. And I never really even heard of him before that day.
Now you're his biggest supporter.
Started following him, 100-some career touchdowns, one of the all-time great athletes. And on Sunday, he'll be in the starting lineup as a rookie for the Cincinnati Bengals. Congratulations to Tyler Boyd. Thanks, Coach Nola. You made me rewrite my whole story because now I had to dig up some information on it.
Well, hold on. Let me interrupt you here. What happened with Pac-Man going crazy on?
No, it was Terrell
Pryor. Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor. That's your other guy.
Yeah.
Because that was all over the place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun stuff, man. Pryor's a free agent. I'd love to bring him back home. Steelers need a second receiver.
At one point, when he was one of the many times when he was a free agent, in between trying to find quarterbacking jobs, Coach Tomlin approached him about coming to Pittsburgh. And
you believe that, huh?
He said he didn't want to be in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that story.
Hey, I just got a text on a different subject.
I can tell you this: that Coach Tomlin has never lied to me to my face.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
He's never spoken to you either.
Oh, that's besides the point.
Devin Shea's in the control room. He watched his first football game in who knows how long. And it happened to be a good one at the VFW, or American Legion down the street.
Army, Navy?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the first time that Army's won in 14 years.
14 years,
Wow.
yes, sir.
I watched the second half, turned the second half on, and might as well go right into it. And they were getting beat like 14-0. Didn't know what happened. All of a sudden, Navy scoring like crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it became a ball game.
Wow.
So,
You at VFW too?
no,
No.
they didn't invite me. They know us there. They don't put the show on, though. That's where Devin goes and plays bingo after this show.
Oh, that's where he plays bingo?
Yeah, American Legion.
Wow.
Yep. Right down the street here on Bethel Church.
Wow. I should see if I
He
can-
said that Army should be the team of the week.
Army I should have been. My fault, Devin Shea. I blew that one, buddy. You're right.
You know,
On a technicality, we'll bring that up.
and here's the thing about the Army-Navy game. The thing I think that makes it so special is that the guys that were playing their hearts out on that field are never going to play in the NFL, but every single one of them are going to put their life on their line for their country.
They can't wait to do it.
And they can't wait to do it. And I'm telling you what, those are true American heroes right there. Mark my words.
Well, all I know is watching the Heisman, the guy that won the Heisman looked like a pimp. Then his mom was blonde hair with blue eyes. I tell you what, they got to quit.
You're very
They got to
judgmental.
quit giving the Heisman to 19-year-old kids. Should have been.
He had the Louisville colors on.
And you know what? And you
With
know
no
what, Jim?
socks.
You know, we had this discussion last week, and here's what the thing was. You know, I felt that Deshaun Watson probably deserved the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, he did.
But based on his body of work from last year and this year.
Yeah.
If you just base what he did this year, that's where he fell short. And Lamar Jackson, in some highly televised games early in the season, played Xbox, if you know what I mean. He was ringing up points left and right because he really didn't finish the season strong either. There was really nobody. The Heisman was there for anybody to really just reach out and grab and take this year, and it didn't seem like
Why
anybody
didn't they give the
wanted to.
Heisman last year to a white guy from Stanford? He did more than anybody. Punt returns, kickoff returns, catching the ball, throwing the ball, and running the ball.
Well, wait, you mean the kid from Alabama?
No, the kid from the McCaffrey from Stanford should have won it last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Alabama,
He wasn't on TV or anything.
at Stanford was on TV all the time. They don't give it to young guys unless you're national championship caliber. You take Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning didn't get it because he couldn't beat Florida. Peyton Manning should win a Heisman Trophy. They give it to Woodson because Michigan's undefeated. That's a ripoff. The 3-loss team from Louisville, and they're playing in the minor bowl game. There's no way I give it to a
Here's the problem
19-year-old
with the
kid.
Heisman
He was
Trophy.
embarrassing up there. Him and Tony Dorsett faking like he don't know where he's at.
If you look
He's not faking.
He's
at what the,
faking.
He's
what
not
the requirements
faking.
are to win the Heisman
Holy.
Trophy and what the what they
You're
require
terrible.
somebody to do.
Smoking
The
Jim.
people that they've elected go against what the spirit of the award is supposed to be.
Yeah,
It's about being a popularity contest, and more people heard about Lamar Jackson because he had two or three big games
Early.
in the beginning of the year.
Michael Vick comes
You
out
know,
and
I mean,
endorsed
when you're
him.
talking to somebody, you're ranking
your
them in the
man.
top 5, and they're only 3-0, and they've never been ranked that high before. I think you're jumping the gun a little
That's
bit.
how Johnny Manziel won it. Johnny Football.
Hold
that
it.
year.
Johnny Football gave him the first hug on stage
Did he? Was he there?
at the
Oh
Heisman.
my goodness.
Yeah, because he got nowhere else to go, so he's right there. He gave him a nice long hug and whispered in his ear, and then they were
Wow.
hanging out together or something
Here's
in his
what
room.
Lamar Jackson's got to deal with for the rest of his life: the curse of the Heisman Trophy.
I mean, this is a
definitely.
great award to win. I just felt like, I had a vote. And maybe if I'd have voted like I was supposed to and voted for second and third place, maybe that would have helped. I only vote for one place, first place.
You're terrible in how you do
And,
that.
I just felt like...
You're a bad man. They might take that vote from you.
Yeah, and then Then they're forcing a white guy down our throat. There's no white guy should have been up there this year, but they put the quarterback
I'm going
in
to be
there from
honest with you.
Oklahoma.
Wouldn't have James Conner's story
Yeah.
been a great story to tell? And
20
that award
touchdowns,
ceremony.
over 1,000 yards.
I mean,
Yeah.
look what this guy did. He beat cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
And he beat a potential career-threatening knee injury,
And he come back.
and then to find out he had cancer, and to beat that and come back and play at a high level. He was the ACC Player of the Year this year.
Probably so. That's the second time he won that.
And
he won the Brian Piccolo.
I mean,
Award.
if you didn't feel that he was worth winning the Heisman Trophy, he was worth being mentioned in the finalists, I think.
I agree.
Wow, we all agree on that. Let's go to Chip's Trivia Time.
All right, thank you, Alan. Well, past Sunday, Le'Veon Bell did something that no Steeler running back has ever done. He set a Steelers single-season record for most rushing yards in a game with 236. He broke Fast Willie Parker's record of 226, which was done in 2006, and it's a record that stood for 10 years. And, that got me thinking about, let's think about some of the other great running backs in Steelers history. So I decided to pull a list of the top 10, and I disagree with number 1 and number 2 on this list, but we'll get to them. And I'll start at number 10, and we'll go backwards. Number 10 on the list was that garbage bag full of weed in my trunk was for personal use. Good old Bam Morris. It was ranked number 10. He had a bruising style, helped the Steelers get to the Super Bowl in 1995, only to have Neil O'Donnell throw the game to the Dallas Cowboys. But unfortunately for Bam, his career was short-lived when he was dismissed from the team after pleading guilty to drug possession during a traffic stop.
Texas Tech.
In 2 years with the Steelers, Bam rushed for 1,395 yards, 16 touchdowns. Next up on the list, probably the running back with the smallest hands in Steeler history, Frank Pollard from 1980 to 1988. He played his entire career with Pittsburgh, ranks 5th in Steelers history with 3,989 yards rushing. In 1985, he had his best seasons. He rushed for a career best 985 yards with 3 touchdowns, adding another 250 as a receiver. Mm-hmm. Number 8 is definitely a Hall of Famer and somebody that I've met on more than one occasion, Dick Hoke. Dick Hoke from 1961 to 1970. Played his entire 10-year career with Pittsburgh. He retired in 1970 as Pittsburgh's number 2 all-time leading rusher. He's the longest tenured player/coach in Steelers history as he retired in 2007. After 45 years with the Steelers. Pretty amazing. His statistics, 3,965 yards, 25 touchdowns. The next up on the Steelers top 10 list.
For Dick Hoke?
Pardon me?
How many touchdowns for Dick Hoke?
25.
Ain't bad.
John Henry Johnson, who played from the Steelers from 1960 to 1966, became the first Pittsburgh Steelers running back to ever rush for 1,000 yards in a single season.
Wow.
When he retired after 1966, he was 4th all-time in NFL history with 6,803 yards rushing. In the Steelers uniform, Johnson rushed for 4,281, 26 touchdowns. Next up on the list, be none other than Fast Willie Parker. Steeler fans always preferred bigger running backs, but Fast Willie brought a different dimension to the Steelers' running game. Parker always kept you on the edge of your seat because you never knew when he would break that long run, as he did for 75 yards in Super Bowl 40. Parker rushed for 5,378 yards, 24 touchdowns as a Steeler. Next one, and I'm sure Jim won't disagree with this one, number 5, Rocky Blyer, 1968 to 1980, 4-time Super Bowl champion, spent most of his career as a lead fullback for Franco, but that didn't stop Blyer from retiring as the 4th leading rusher in Steelers history. In 1976, Blyer's finest year, rushing for 1,036 yards. That was the first year in NFL history that 2 players on the same team rushed for 1,000 yards. As Blyer and Franco Harris topped the 1,000 mark together, Blyer finished his career with 3,865 yards and 23 touchdowns. And everybody hit from the 70s. You ask anybody that played for the Steelers in the 70s. the best team the Steelers fielded that decade was the 1976 team. That was the one that didn't win a Super Bowl.
Well, I guess in this article they're not counting Mercury Morris and Larry Zonka that did it prior to that. About 73, 72, 73, yeah. But I guess that don't count.
We'll check on it.
I guess that don't count.
No.
Check.
Well,
we
I'll
need
check
verification
We
from
need
you.
verification
17.
on that. There's a little bit of confusion.
17.
Number 4 on the list, Merle Hodge, 1987, 1993. He was one of the few bright spots on the Pittsburgh Steelers during the end of the Chuck Noll era. He did whatever was necessary for Pittsburgh's offense to move the ball. Is a versatile threat for the Steelers running and receiving. Hodge finished his career with 5,272 total yards, 34 touchdowns. Number 3, Barry Foster, 1990 to 1994. In 92, Foster set the franchise mark with 1,690 yards rushing. And he also had 12 100-yard games to match Eric Dickerson's NFL record. His career was cut short to only 5 seasons. He finished his career with 3,943 yards and 2 touchdowns. And here is where I disagree with this article. Number 2 on the all-time list, Franco Harris.
Wow.
When NFL fans think of the best Pittsburgh Steelers running backs of all time, Franco Harris' name pops up first. Franco is the all-time leading rusher for the franchise with 11,950 yards and 91 touchdowns. His 6'2", 230-pound frame made it virtually impossible for one defender to take him down. And that would lead us to number 1, Jerome Bettis. The Bus tops our list, even though he racked up. The Bus averaged a franchise best 72.9 yards per game, racked up 10,571 yards and 78 touchdowns while playing in a Pittsburgh uniform. So the question that I have now, and with the performance that we have seen out of Le'Veon Bell in the last 4 weeks, which have all been games where he's rushed for over 100 yards, where is Le'Veon Bell going to end up on this list?
Good point.
Will he end up on this list? Will he even be on the team next year?
He'll be higher than Bam Morris.
He'll
be higher than Bam Morris.
Well, he might need his defense attorney,
Then he won't be on the team.
But
we won't have him next year.
Le'Veon Bell does present a bit of a problem for the Steelers coming into this offseason because Le'Veon's contract, his rookie contract, will be up. Now, what do you do if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers? Looking at the kind of talent that this young athlete has, and then you look at all the foolish mistakes that he's made on top of it, then you look at the number of injuries that he's had. Is this somebody that you want to extend long term for a big dollar contract when you can't even trust him to show up for a drug test? Or is this somebody that you want to franchise, and you could franchise him 2 years in a row? Antonio Brown is under contract for next year, and I'm sure they're going to renegotiate and sign him. But, the question remains, is Le'Veon Bell worth risking a long-term contract on? We'll find out soon enough.
And I saw an interesting stat. I like trivia like you do. 161.2 yards per game he's averaging, counting his receiving and his running.
Yes.
That's a heck of a stat.
Well, and that 161 in NFL history for a season, the highest yards per game were by Priest Holmes in 2002. Played for Kansas City. He had 1,600 yards rushing, 672 yards receiving. He averaged 163.4
Who's that?
over the course of the season. That was Priest Holmes. Now, Le'Veon Bell may not hit those numbers in rushing because he was suspended for 3 games, but there's still 3 games left this season, and he could ultimately end up setting the yards from scrimmage per game, the all-time record for the NFL. And just to give you the kind of idea, the company that he would be in here,
Jim Brown.
Priest Holmes, O.J. Simpson, number 3, Chris Johnson, Marshall Faulk, ranks number 5 and number 6. Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk again, Walter Payton. How this guy got in here, I'll never know. Tiki Barber.
Wow. He had a good year.
It's about all I'm going to say about him. LaDainian Tomlinson, O.J. Simpson, Barry Sanders. So, he is in some pretty
elite company there.
Elite company, to say the least. If he can only get his head screwed on straight and
Burfict will do that for him this week. Burfict will probably put him out. But before we go on, let me read this.
What do you got?
Wikipedia, how you say that?
Wikipedia.
Same thing.
Nah.
The first 1,000-yard duo consisted of Larry Zonka, Mercury Morris, 1972. And then it goes down and says the second 1,000-yard tandem occurred 4 years later in 76 when fullback Franco Harris and Rocky Blyer both surpassed 1,000.
Well,
You were off by a year.
But it ain't your fault. It's the fault of the writer.
Well, and of course, if it didn't
And you
happen
only
in
check
Pittsburgh,
one. You only check
and
one
it didn't happen
source.
in Pittsburgh, it didn't happen, right?
That's right.
We stand corrected. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome, sir.
Well, thanks for your trivia, Chip. Smoking Jim, thanks for adding something to the trivia. You're like a dog on a bone with that 2,000-yard runners. You love Zonka and Kick.
Well,
No,
Mercury Morris.
Yeah,
but
Morris.
Kick started. Mercury came off the bench and gained 1,000.
That's even more impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They knew the
that-
brother was getting
that-
the ball, couldn't stop him.
When the Dolphins had a team that was pretty. That was part of the team that was undefeated.
Yeah.
More trivia.
They had Paul Warfield, Bob Greasy, they had Earl Morrill, who
Yeah.
took over from Greasy
Greasy,
when he
good
was
point.
injured.
Good point.
Larry Little on the offensive line, Nick Bonacani on the defense,
Earl
Manny
Morrill,
Fernandez.
another quarterback the Steelers got rid of.
Yeah.
Steelers were great at stocking teams with Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Oh, my
Smoking
goodness.
Jim,
Glenn Dawson, Johnny Unitas.
I got to interrupt this. You brought up at the beginning of the year about the curse of the Steelers.
Yeah.
Did you check out Art Rooney?
No, I never did.
Get
I
out.
never did.
Your curse doesn't mean a thing. You just made it up. There is no curse.
Is there a Bigfoot in that?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot sighting?
There's
in
a
that?
lot of stuff in there.
I
There'll be
gotta
one
read
for
up.
you.
I got to read up on that.
There's a lot to read up. You missed it on that one, Smoking
I
Jim.
sure did.
All right, I'll go to our on location. Smoking Jim was in such a great mood because we had Jose Caraballa's gym, Ray Schaefer Boxing Association. They're lady boxers. Smoking Jim took so many photos that it was just amazing. The sweeties for Jimmy were out of control. Some of them are up. And Cole Davis was the recipient of them. Her mother shared our post. Her dad shared our post. He gave us a compliment.
That's great.
And he's been a fan of our show since he saw Douglas Kavanaugh on the show.
Well, I thought he'd be mad at us for taking his daughter away from his birthday party.
She wished him a happy birthday on the show. So I guess she made it home in time to cut the cake. But yeah, we were at Atria's PNC Park in their upper mezzanine area doing our show up there. Had some fun. Had lady boxers, and we had one young man, 12 years old, Ryan Doherty, Golden Glove champ. They were all Golden Glove champs at one point or another. So we got that out, and they're getting ready for next year. Thanks again, Jose, for the insights and closing out the show with some more information for us. So we had a good time. We're going to be next week, Fairway Grill, right here in Bethel Park, 1530 Hamilton Road. Smoking Jim's still trying to find it. I just put an event page out there for it, so you can like it. Come visit us. They got a mac and cheese special that they run there. Ooh. And I already said, put an order in for me, Vic. So they're going to do that. And they got drink specials, too. I think margaritas for $5. Very nice place.
What time's the show?
7:30 to 8:30.
Okay.
My wife has been there several times, and she recommends it highly.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Smoking Jim's like a naive little kid here. I hope you can find it. Come early, Smoking Jim. It's not hard to find. It's off Main Road. So.
Okay.
All right.
I'll call you.
You could go on 88, hit Hamilton Road, and it's a straight
It's at
shot.
the corner of Baptist and Hamilton.
I should know Baptist.
You won't find it. Good luck. But yeah, we have a show there, so it'll be Fairway Grill, 7:30 to 8:30. And we even have Judge Ron Arnone as one of our guests. People that work there, in charge of membership, leagues. Allegheny Health Network. We got everybody coming out. They're going to do a little spiel there, tell you what goes on there.
Pro golfer. I want to take up golf. Got a pro golfer in there?
Yeah.
Interviewing one.
We had pro golfers on the show before, and
Tiger the second.
you let us down, Smoking Jim. You got no skills there. You're even holding that club wrong. So.
I can't wait till one of them honeys starts chasing him around with a 9-iron.
He won't even let him get near him. He'll be gone. You won't find him. Definitely. But that's something to look forward to. That's next Monday. Come on out, check out the show. Be there about 7:30. We'll be interviewing for an hour there and get to see the show live right here in Bethel Park. We're happy to be here. Thanks to Dave Cable. He inspired me to ask and see what we could do. And thanks for Victor, for the guy who runs and owns the club, for agreeing to have us out there. So we'll have some fun there. It's the third week of the month. We'll try to be consistent out there, but this will be our first one on the 19th. So that's what we have there for you. Now we got some more sports to talk.
So, Jim, how badly are you picking the Steelers to lose this week?
I got the Red Gun beating them this week with Tyler Boyd. You know, the pressure's off the Pittsburgh Steelers to win, in their opinion, because Baltimore got beat. And I think 2 road games in a row. I was surprised they beat Buffalo. I said if they beat Buffalo, I probably wouldn't pick against the Steelers. But I just don't see anybody having 35 touches and Burfict not putting you out. They may even go get Tennessee Titans Harry Douglas to play against
That's your newest hero.
Yeah, I love him, man.
He stood up, looked him straight in the eye, and then cut him.
I loved it.
And it was a legal play.
Yeah.
That was legal. You're allowed to do that.
You're allowed to do that as a wideout.
Well, this is a rivalry game.
Yes, it is.
These two teams could be 0-12 each going into this game, and they're going to play it just like they did in the playoffs last year. And as long as the Steelers don't get goaded into reacting like they did with the fool Perfect and his other clown friend Pac-Man, those two were responsible for them losing a playoff game, and they can talk all the trash they want and use all the 4-letter words they can think of. But the fact of the matter is, they got to bring it on the field. And I will tell you this: all the criticisms that we have heaped upon the Steelers for the way they draft, Kevin Colbert, Mike Tomlin, et al., I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of guys that they drafted right now that are starting to bring it.
At least 3 on the defense.
I like the 3 draft picks from this year's draft, the rookies that are contributing. Hargrave's still under the concussion protocol, but Artie Burns, Sean Davis, I think, that's definitely solved some of the problem with. I love Artie Burns. I mean, the one touchdown pass that the Bills had, Artie Burns just missed that ball. He went for the ball, and I like a cornerback that is going to do that. You're going to miss sometimes. But the guy makes plays.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good.
He's going to be good. And you got to give Tomlin, you got to give Colbert, you got to give them their credit, because they brought in those 3 this year. They brought in Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree looks like he can bring it.
Yes, sir.
They
Smoking Jim, what's your opinion?
They're starting.
I love Bud Dupree.
You and I talked about him before the draft.
Yeah.
And we said that he would have been a good fit for the Steelers. We're both surprised to see that A, he was available when the Steelers drafted him, and B, that the Steelers drafted him.
Yeah.
Because usually if you like somebody, they're going to take the opposite.
They're not
end of the
picking him.
Especially
they're going to take Jarvis.
Especially when they took linebackers the previous 2 seasons.
Well, you know what? And I think the Jarvis Jones experiment is, it was an abject failure, and pretty much they're moving on from it. He was given every opportunity and every chance to succeed. He did not, and that's just the way life is. You move on from it.
And they got younger, faster players. Because they kept saying on TV how fast they are.
Tomlin and
fast
Colbert
linebackers. I loved it.
Brought in Antonio Brown. They brought in, look at Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
The only person left from Cowher's crew is Ben.
That's the most important.
That's it. Well, it is. It is without a question, because you look, Ken Wisenhunt, when he left the Pittsburgh Steelers, took the job with the Arizona Cardinals, took them to the Super Bowl. Now, he loses Kurt Warner as his starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he can't coach anymore.
Right.
I don't think it's not that he can't coach. He just didn't have the caliber
horse.
quarterback.
He didn't have the horse.
Tomlin's
Got to
been
have that
blessed,
guy.
and congratulations, Mike Tomlin. Your 100th win in your 10th season. The third Steelers coach to win 100 games, and that's the only team in the NFL that can make that claim.
That's amazing, man.
You know, that is amazing. The last 3 coaches you've had in the last 47 years, you know, in each of them have won 100 games. You know, you got to give him credit for that. You know, say what you want about him, but he's got a winning percentage of over 62%. I mean,
Well, what about all the people that say he can't coach? You still have all those fans that say he can't coach?
apparently-
He loses a game and he should get fired.
well, that's, you know, Steeler fans are going to be there. Let me tell you something. You know, in the 70s, even when we were winning Super Bowls, Steeler fans were firing Chuck Noll at least half a dozen times every season.
That.
And and I remember
We're too
Bradshaw being booed
I remember that.
and
You were
being,
booing him.
being hollered at and every other thing
were
that you
booing
can think
him.
of. So, hey, you know, Steeler fans are, you know,
They're fickle.
you win, you're in, you lose, and you're out. And that's just the way it's been, and it's the way it's always going to be.
There you
Yeah,
go.
good point.
Smoking Jim, what's your thoughts on the Steelers?
Well, I got to give credit where credit is due. Coach Mike Tomlin and Coach Keith Butler, again, digging deep in the Dick LeBeau's playbook.
Did you say Keith Butler?
Yeah.
I don't care whose playbook they dig into.
They got rid of the Tampa 2, which would never work here with the personnel that they had. Only took them about 10 games to realize that. But they did something that I did not expect them to do. One of the things that Shea Desir, one of the many things that Shea Desir does great is cover. And they've always had him in coverage. And I thought that Steelers would be hurt because they wouldn't have a spy on Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
But they put
Didn't matter.
They put Shazier as the spy on Taylor and pretty much shut him down. Shut down the run game, although Rex Ryan should have went to that number 32 to run the football instead of Shady. All that juking wasn't going to work, and that day 32 came in there, was running downhill on the Steelers. But
Didn't work out.
some good passing from Tyrod Taylor. I don't think the Steelers expected him to throw that accurately. But like Chip said, you know, the game could have easily been 50-0 without the turnovers. You know, the Steelers were on their game.
Yeah.
And and here's, you know, and I do like the Steelers to beat the Bengals this week, but here's the thing that concerns me. Ben Roethlisberger plays horribly on the road.
Always plays good at Cincinnati, though.
He does play well in
Ohio, he's
Cincinnati,
good.
but I mean, you know, he needs to start because, you know, the only way we're going to get a home playoff game this fall is if we win the division. And, you know, if we're probably going to have to go on the road, we make the playoffs. And if you look at the way that he's played, and even in victories, he's played lousy. Ben needs to step up his game, you know, because, you know, Le'Veon Bell's a nice safety valve to have. I mean, you know, you can't.
Think he'll stay healthy?
We'll see.
Well, we're getting Williams back maybe this week. So.
Yeah, you know, we'll see. Tomlin alluded to the fact that that Williams, D'Angelo could be back this week.
Yeah.
A real strong possibility. So I'd like to see them split carries, but you know, you having a 1 and a 1A isn't a bad thing to have. But you know, that's the thing about Le'Veon Bell is, you know, can he stay healthy? And you know, if he can, then the Steelers will actually have a chance to make some noise in the playoffs.
Well, since he's getting a lot of inside information from the Steelers, they signed this week the kicker kicked a couple weeks ago. So
Yeah.
he don't even know.
He don't even know
He
it.
don't even know none of the play. All he knows is the long snapper and the holder. You know.
That's
it.
it.
I'm sure Marvin Lewis is drilling him. The great coach
You
that
know
he
what?
is.
Marvin Lewis is coaching for his job right now. And the thing is, Mike Brown, the owner
The
of the
affirmative action program in Cincinnati is tight.
No,
Is it?
No, it has nothing to do with the affirmative action program. What it has to do with, Mike Brown is so cheap.
Yeah,
He's only going to pay one coach at a time. And as long as he has Marvin Lewis under contract, he will never fire him and pay another guy. No, he's going to fire him.
He must be a Rooney.
I don't
They
know.
wouldn't do it either.
And, you know, he's
He's unsuccessful.
He holds on to his money pretty tightly.
Yes, he does.
Well, we shall see. I predict the Steelers beat Cincinnati.
Wow.
Definitely.
Got room in your
21-17.
garage? Got room in your garage?
For what?
21-17.
Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, it'll be a close game, but if there's one
Cincinnati
thing.
got a quarterback now.
Who? Howdy Doody? The kid that they had last
The red rifle. He got the red
the
rifle.
kid they had last year was a better quarterback,
AJ
McCarron.
McCarron.
Yeah.
Really?
He played a better game against us in the playoffs last year. As a matter of fact, I thought he beat us until Burfict stuck his foot in his mouth.
Well,
Yeah.
Burfict did all right. It was Joey Porter illegally being on the field.
Hey, you know,
They missed that.
hey, you know, whatever it takes, you know. Joey knows what he knew what he was doing. He knew I pressed this guy's buttons, man, and we're
He knows what to say.
Joey and Keith Butler know how to keep their job another year, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Well, Joey's,
Keith Butler's doing it right
Joey's
now.
the one that should be concerned about his job because, you know, he was the one
I don't
that
see
said
how he keeps it.
he's responsible for developing Jarvis Jones, and I mean, the guy.
Double-digit sacks, he said. Though.
Yeah, well, he didn't do that for his career.
Yeah, but Joey said it this year.
Yeah, he did. I'm
He
sure.
come out and said
I'm
it.
sure he's regretting it. But
But what I would do is next year you got to move. If you're not going to move Shazier, the outside linebacker, that's what I would do. You got to move Bud Dupree over on the right side and have Chicolo play the left side.
I have a prediction for next year's draft. Steelers are going to take a linebacker. in the first round.
You went out on a limb again.
Wow, you're on that limb.
I do. I can push the envelope right to the edge.
I don't know how you do it.
Because that makes sense. Put Bud Dupree on the right hand side. Bring in somebody new because
You don't like Chicolo over there?
Well, Chicolo's.
You prejudiced against your own people?
No, you know what?
What
Here's
he
the
got
thing.
to do to get play time? He's all over the
James
field.
may decide to play again next year, you know? And the fact of the matter is, at 38 years old, he's the best linebacker on the field
That's a
most of the
problem.
year. Well, no, I will say that Shazier has been healthy for 6 games in a row, and he's playing amazingly.
Yeah.
Well,
And he's another guy that you need to keep on the field and off the trainer's table.
I gave out 2 game balls last week. In the
When
game.
did this happen?
I gave.
When did this happen?
I mean,
I wanna know.
I wasn't in the locker room, but if I was giving out a game ball,
Who would it go to?
1 game ball that got 2 for 100 wins, I'd have gave it to Coach Cower because he was
Pardon me?
as responsible for those 100 wins.
That is
as
so
Coach
ridiculous.
Tomlin. I'm just saying my game ball.
Wait.
And second game ball has to go to, and I tell you what, I love this. Rosie Nix played his butt
Yes,
off,
he
not
did.
only on special teams, but
Yes,
as a
he did.
fullback. And for a guy that played defensive line
He
for
did.
4
Yeah.
years in college, he hit the correct hold. A couple of times that Le'Veon Bell didn't follow him was a bad move. I mean, for him to hit the right hole and Le'Veon Bell following right through, and he was blowing people
Yeah, he
up.
was.
I love
Especially
that.
at the second level.
So the game ball that you said you should have given to Bill Cowher, what about how many of Bill Cowher's wins can he thank Chuck Noll for? Because when Bill Cowher came to coach the Steelers, the cupboard was stocked.
Yeah, and Bill Cowher, and I watched the press conference, I got it on 8-track tape. Bill Cowher, the first thing he said was, I'm happy to have this job. This team has a lot of talent. It's loaded. He gave Chuck Noll credit. Mike Tomlin never gave credit to anybody.
You know why? Because he got an 8-8 team from Cowher.
Yeah.
The team was not great. It was 8-8. They just wanted to be 8-8.
Cowher left him.
How did you not know that?
Cowher left him all the players. Cowher left him all the coaches. Cowher left him his system, Hall of Fame quarterback.
And you know how much Cowher had to do with them winning any games from 2007 on?
Everything.
Nothing.
Everything.
Nothing. He was in a television studio. He had absolutely nothing to do with them winning.
And 8-8 was his last year.
Name me one other coach that got a head coaching job that didn't bring in not one player or not one system or coach. He didn't even bring in a coach. It was all anybody could have coached that team for 5-6 years.
Let me tell you.
And I think anybody did.
Let me tell you something. I'd have taken the job myself.
Yeah.
If they would offered it to me.
Dick LeBeau run the defense, the genius, Bruce Arians run the offense, and I'll come up with Tomlinisms.
You're never going to give Coach Tomlin his
I give him credit.
No, you don't.
I'm in the locker room every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. He acts like he doesn't even see me.
He doesn't.
He does. You go into his office and there's a Jim Frazier picture and he's throwing darts at it.
Between him and Jarvis Jones,
he said that loudmouth.
He said, "How many shows can he talk bad about me?"
Don't worry.
And then he wants to ask about how's Kia, how his wife is. That's all you talk to him about.
Can I get a selfie with your wife, Coach?
And you wonder why he doesn't like you. He doesn't know about the Sweeties for Jimmy.
Yeah.
We promote that on Pittsburgh Sportsline for you.
We are friends on Facebook.
We're getting down to the last couple of minutes. Let's, Alan mentioned before, how about the Pittsburgh Penguins? 6 games in a row they destroyed the Arizona Coyotes.
They shut them out 7-0.
Phoenix Coyotes 7-0. They just shelled them. Tomorrow night they get to go for Boston. 7 in a row against the Boston Bruins here. Penguins are they're coming together real well. And I got to tip my hat to Marc-Andre Fleury, even though he is not performing at the level that we know that he's capable of. He is being the consummate team player. He is, he is not causing waves. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you this, before the end of this season, Marc-Andre Fleury is going to have a big impact on the success of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Matt Murray is playing unbelievable, but you know what? It's a long season. And,
we'll see what happens.
Having 2 goaltenders, believe me, there's going to be a day, and probably not too far away in the future, that the Penguins are going to be glad they have 2 goaltenders of that caliber.
It's nice to see us going for a winning record in the Metropolitan and cleaning up in the NHL. After all, we're trying to repeat as champions. And so this is a key thing in this season.
And one of the things that you've noticed that a lot of teams are trying to play the speed game with the Penguins, which is what they used to very good degree last year, and that's okay because people are going to mimic success. Mm-hmm. So
other teams have revamped and done that, so not to the success that we've had.
No, but it's a lot to look forward to, and there are no guarantees. Just as surprisingly as we won the Cup last year, we could get bounced this year. But hey, it's going to be a great ride. Sit back and enjoy it.
And it's fun to watch their games.
Again,
definitely.
Again.
Yeah.
Last year,
even Smoking Jim may tune in.
We were falling asleep.
He might tune in for a game. We'll have to see what happens. I doubt it. No reason for you to do it. They're doing well. When they do bad, maybe you will turn in. You go for that negativity. Well, thanks for watching our show. We appreciate that. And look at our future shows. Smoking Jim, anything you want to close it out with?
I'm glad Kutch got the knife out his back and will be back with the Pirates next year.
All right, on those words of wisdom from Smoking Jim Frazier, you never know what he's going to say. Chip, you got something?
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. I'll miss you next week, but wish everybody the best of the holiday season.
And everybody, please stay Joey strong.